it's Wes.
And Shonda.
And welcome to DinkLife.
So after we ate, we decided to visit the aquarium that was near Universal Studios. It was a ferry ride away. The thing is, the ferry only runs until 5 o'clock.
Yeah, 5 o'clock.
So if you're going to take the ferry, just make sure you're there before 5 o'clock. We could only take the ferry over. We could not take it back because we were missing time.
Yeah, I think we had to pay for a round trip though, but I think that's how... Wasn't it round trip with the aquarium price included?
No. Ours was just one way.
Oh, one way with the aquarium
price included. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, it turned out to be about, I don't know, $50 or $60.
Yeah, for both of us?
Yes, for both of us to get into the aquarium and to ride the ferry boat over.
Yeah.
And it was a nice little ride. I mean, it only took like 10 minutes. It was a chilly day, but it was beautiful outside.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
And it was nice
It's a nice little ride through the harbor or whatever.
It was nice to just see some things. There's a Ferris wheel, a giant Ferris wheel.
I was going to say, when you actually go to try to get the ferry, you really want to go back when you're leaving Citywalk, like, because it's a little confusing. You want to exit back to where you came in on the subway, and you just blow past the stairs where you would go down to the subway. You go out the back, and you go across the street, and then you kind of follow over there, and that's where the ferry is.
Yeah, it looks like there's little amphitheater seating going down to the water, and it's right off to the left.
Yeah, it's not very far.
No, not at all. We just got lost because we didn't know where we were going.
5-10 minute walk at tops.
Yeah. So we took the ferry over, and it drops you off right outside of the aquarium.
Yeah.
So the name of the aquarium is Kaiyukan Aquarium. And you have timed entry.
Yep.
You have a time that you're supposed to go in, so you just show them the ticket that you took over on the ferry boat, and they let you right in. I have to tell you, I've been to many aquariums. I sort of make it a point to try to stop at aquariums wherever I am. I love them. I think they're relaxing.
Really cool.
So I've been to the National Aquarium, Shed. I've been to the one in Atlanta. I've been to the one in Newport, Cincinnati. This is probably, for me, right up there with the one in Atlanta. It's one of the best aquariums that I've been to.
Yeah, it was cool.
I mean, they had everything in there. Things you just couldn't even imagine.
They had an amazing dolphin display that I've never really seen in a lot of aquariums.
And seals and sea lions.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just stunning, and I probably could have stayed there much longer than we did. Unfortunately, we didn't get over there until about 4:30.
Yeah.
4:30, so we probably only spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours in there.
Yeah, it has a giant tank that kind of sits in the middle of it, and then you kind of spiral walk around that tank, and then they have other displays on the outside. So you kind of keep getting deeper and deeper into the gigantic tank in the middle. It was really neat.
Yes.
With some enormous fish in it. Some of the biggest fish I've ever seen in an aquarium.
Yeah, it was just fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely would recommend going there. I know you can go anywhere and go to an aquarium.
Yeah.
But
it was a good aquarium.
It was fantastic. So from there, we had to take the train back.
Yeah, we took the subway back. Yeah.
However, I should mention, just because it's funny, Wes started to not feel well. So we needed to find a drugstore or some sort of pharmacy so we could get some sinus pills because he was a little stuffed up. And I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing about this. We had to use Google Translate, obviously, because you cannot read any of the boxes of medication. So, like, we had no idea what we were looking at. And I swear to you, people must have thought we were nuts because
we were dying laughing in the medication
aisle. We were laughing so hard at some of the things on Google Translate. Wes will have to share pictures with you.
They're just, the symbols do not translate correctly into our language.
No.
And some of it just comes out hilarious.
But it's great. It's quite entertaining. The other thing too was he wanted some cough drops. They don't call them cough drops there. So luckily he had one in his pocket because nobody in that store spoke English.
Yeah, nobody.
So he showed them what he needed, and the gentleman was like, throat candy. So should you ever need cough drops in Japan, they call them throat candy.
Yeah, and also when you do show it to them, they will be a little confused because they actually wrap their cough drops different than here, how we twist them at the end. It's actually almost in a sealed little package like a candy bar.
Or like individual lifesavers.
Yeah, and you kind of just rip them open and get your cough drop out of it.
Right. So that was a fun little pit stop that we made on the way back to the hotel. After we left the drugstore, we took the train into downtown Osaka. We wanted to see the lights and obviously the famous Glico Running Man sign that everybody talks about. So we had to get down there.
In the new John Wick movie.
So one thing to mention here is that your Suica card or your JR pass will pretty much get you everywhere in Osaka. No need to buy anything else.
Yeah, we were confused about that because we weren't sure if we would have to get a different card, but our Suica card worked there. It worked everywhere.
Yeah, the only thing is you just don't know which one it's going to be. In Tokyo, it's mostly a Suica card. But in Osaka, it's kind of...
a combo between your JR
it's
pass
half and
the Suica card, yeah.
Correct. So just pick one. If you get a big red X, use the other one.
Yep.
That's basically the gist of it. We traveled to downtown Osaka. That place was packed. I mean, it was jam-packed with people. But there was so much to look at. Just lights and sounds and shops and restaurants.
Yeah. Well, it's called...
And then there's a strip right as you get off the subway and walk down the main drag called Dotonbori. It also has a lot of shops and restaurants. We kind of just did a walk around. There's a little river running right through the middle of Osaka.
Yeah, it's really pretty, all the signs.
Yeah,
you'll see all the famous signs, like the moving crab signs in there.
And one other thing that we did run across was some street performers, which is the first time we had seen anything like that over there.
Yeah.
You always see buskers over here. You see them a lot in Europe at subway stations and things like that, but this was the first time we had seen anything like this in Japan.
The only time we saw a street performer there. They were really good. Too.
They were fantastic. We did stand there for a bit and watch them. But it was getting late, so we didn't do too much in downtown Osaka. We kind of just walked around for a little bit, took some pictures, enjoyed the atmosphere.
Looked like there was tons of awesome places to eat.
Yeah. But we just didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
After we left downtown Osaka, we traveled back to Universal City near the hotel. And we decided that we kind of needed a snack. We had eaten lunch, dinner around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and we were getting a little bit hungry. Wes decided to stop and try some of the infamous octopus balls.
Yeah.
Which they have a name for them. Man, I cannot remember what they're called.
I don't remember what the name was. They had tons of them there, though.
But they had one whole... It was like a food court area.
Yeah.
I would say there was probably 5 or 6 different little restaurants, but they all served different versions of octopus balls.
Yeah.
And that place was packed. I mean, it was jammed with people. We just picked a line and got in it. And Wes got some of the octopus balls. I'll let you give your review on those.
I got a 6-pack of them. We got those, and then we ended up going over to Wolfgang's. And I was kind of glad, because we went over there to have a beer, and I was kind of glad to have a beer with them, because the octopus balls were not my favorite thing. They're basically just a deep-fried ball, and it's cheese, and the cheese part's very good, but then in the very middle of it, they stick a little chunk of octopus. And I like octopus, but when it was in this ball, it kind of just made it taste like this fishy cheese ball. And it just didn't taste that good. I'm just not into fishy tasting cheese.
I don't eat the octopus.
Yeah.
So I have no say in this.
Yeah, it was not my favorite thing. I probably would never get them again. But I tried it once.
So we headed over to Wolfgang Puck's because they had takeout. And I wanted to just grab a pizza or something small. Yeah. So I ordered a flatbread, and it was going to take about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So while we were waiting for my pizza, we decided to sit down at the bar and have some food. Now, we should tell you that Japanese people don't really just hang out at bars and have drinks like we do here. It's not a thing. So we were the only people at the bar, and we got to know the bartender quite well.
He couldn't talk any English, but he would give us these eye things like, these people are back.
Yeah. So we had a couple of drinks while I waited for my pizza. It was a good atmosphere. The drinks were very reasonably priced for it being Wolfgang Puck's and being at Citywalk.
Yeah, and if you stay at the hotel above it, you actually get 10% off all your drinks and food inside the place.
Which we were.
Yeah.
The park front hotel sits right on top of all of that.
Yeah.
That was something we didn't know, which was good.
Yep.
And you'll find out later we ended up going back there like
quite a few
more
times.
times.
It was funny though when you do get a beer there. It's hilarious because the guy puts just the most perfect head on the top of a beer, and like they just try to get this perfect little head. Which in the United States, I would rather have more beer than a perfect head on my beer. But they're very into the head.
They're very cognizant about how everything looks.
Needs to look.
Yeah, which is great. I think. I mean, the presentation means everything to them.
Yeah.
So after that, we just went back up to the room and decided to crash for the night because we had to get up very early the next day to get to Universal. That was our first day traveling to Osaka, a little bit about our time in Osaka, and the next episode we will be talking about our adventures at USJ, Universal Studios Japan. But as always, just remember, whatever you decide to do, just get out there and do it.